What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Sly Jordy, and welcome back to F123, my team career mode for the Italian Grand Prix, the second one of the season at Monza. And if you missed last episode, we finally achieved our very first win at Zandvoort, making it 3 wins in a row, and our closest title rivals didn't even get into the top 10, didn't even score any points, and they didn't have any problems throughout the race. So yeah, just completely dropping the ball on the title race, and we are almost 100 points ahead in the standings at this point, as we are now over halfway through the season. And this next race, definitely one I'm really looking forward to. Of course, it is Monza. We are going to put in a new gearbox, of course, so let's go ahead and do that. And let's finally max out our facilities. It's just something I've completely forgotten about. So I'm just going to fully upgrade those now, and it is done. Fully done. Not sure if I'll get a trophy for that, we'll see. But, you know, whatever. Time to move on to Monza straight away. I am really excited for this. Did we do this track last year? I don't know. Last season, I mean. I don't know, because, you know, we've kind of been alternating. Since Season 2, we were alternating Imola, then Monza, etc., etc. So, I think we haven't done Monza since Season 3. You could correct me if I'm wrong on that. But we got a pretty perfect weekend, apart from some rain in FP2, so I probably won't be doing that. Yep, I won't be doing that with the weather forecast, so... yeah, let's have a look. We've started a new rivalry now with Sergio Perez, as he has started to get really good lately. So, you know, I had the choice between him and Verstappen. So, yeah, Verstappen's kind of dropped the ball lately, so our rival is now Perez. We won the rivalry with Verstappen. In terms of any new upgrades going into this race, no new upgrades. Everybody has stagnated. So, yeah. It'll pretty much be who has the quickest car, which might be Red Bull and Aston Martin. They seem to be over us, apparently. I don't even see my line at all anymore, to be quite honest. So I have no idea if I'm definitely below Aston. So we might have the exact same potential with the car as Aston Martin do, which is interesting. But yeah, Red Bull's certainly quicker than us, so that will be something to watch out for. Hopefully George Russell can finally start picking up some good results. He did get a P3 in Silverstone, but besides that, since Spain, he has completely dropped the ball. A P6 in Spain, not the worst in the world, but not what we expect given his previous results. A P13 in Canada, a P5 in Austria, a P8 in Belgium, and a P12. Didn't even get into the points at Zandvoort. So, yeah, we're really wanting our teammate to improve here. And that's just for bragging rights, really. When it comes to the constructors' standings, we've pretty much already won that. But I want another 1-2 in the standings, you know? We haven't gotten that before, apparently. So, that's definitely something I want. Look at that. Lance Stroll got a P3 in Season 3. As he dropped the ball in Mexico. He could have gotten a 1-2 there. Sergio Perez got second place in Season 4, Max Verstappen third. So, yeah, Lance didn't have the greatest of seasons for us. He was P4. So, I really want a 1-2 in the standings. I want to beat Max Verstappen's 386 points that he got in Season 1, and I want a 1-2 in the standings. So, George really needs to start stepping it up. So, without further ado, let's get into qualifying for the Monza Grand Prix. Well, here we go, our first lap of Monza. In Season 5, of course, our final season. I'm not feeling very confident about this. The only other track that this is actually quite comparable to is Austria. And obviously with how bad the MyTeam car is at this point with those really hard braking zones, we might be in a bit of trouble here. But who knows? Who knows? We might see some surprises, and hopefully our teammate does well. We'll have to see, though. George has not been on the greatest run of form recently as we make our way through Sector 2 here. Now, this section definitely pretty difficult for us. And yeah, it's high-speed braking through the corners. This is why they call it the Temple of Speed. You know, you're going so fast throughout the whole of it, and quite honestly, these MyTeam cars, later on in the seasons, they just get worse. And the last time we did Monza, I assume, was Season 3, or was it Season 2? I don't know, but I don't remember really having any good times at Monza, correct me if I'm wrong, but not the greatest section through the Parabolica there. Definitely, it looks like we locked up a little bit. Maybe I just turned a bit too late. We can't lock up because I don't have those settings, but we definitely turned a bit later than intended, and yeah, my theory is proven correct. We actually lost a tenth almost. No, we lost about half a tenth on that original lap, but even with that improvement, I mean, as you can see, there wasn't actually that much improvement at all, and we finish in a measly P8. So Monza's definitely giving us a tougher time than, you know, everybody else and any other track. And yeah, definitely going to be a lot harder to maintain our, you know, 3 wins in a row and turn them into 4. But who knows? Who knows? But look at that. Alpine with a 1 and 3. Charles Leclerc, Ferrari will be happy about that. And our teammate George Russell is in P4 as well. Théo Pourchaire in the Aston Martin, completely dominating Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin head-to-heads. Bottas doesn't do very well, but other than Alpine, it's business as usual for the grid. So, yeah, let's go. Let's get it.
We're back in Italy once again for another round of the Formula One World Championship. And what a great race is in store for us today, here at the oldest circuit on the calendar, which hosted its first race all the way back in 1922. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest track in Formula One. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6-mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some close action. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. A fantastic effort from Pierre Gasly yesterday puts him on pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Ocon, Russell, Théo Pourchaire, Norris, Sainz, the owner driver, Oscar Piastri, Perez, Stroll, Liam Lawson, Tsunoda, Bottas, Daruvala, Albon, Magnussen, Joe, Drugovich, Verstappen, De Vries, and Logan Sargent. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Now, can I get your take on Max Verstappen? As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to power unit component changes. It's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
Well, here we are, and here is the moment of the video where I tell you that the practice sessions have actually deemed the soft tyres okay, you know? So, for once, I'm actually feeling confident about going on to the soft tyres. Actually, it was the hard tyres that didn't feel too good, so definitely a bit interesting there.
The lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out. We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
So yeah, as I was saying, the hard tyres just weren't feeling good for me at all in the practice sessions. Actually, I found that the hard tyres wore out at the exact same rate as the mediums, you know, and they felt just so similar. So, like, towards, like, as they wore out. So, quite frankly, the mediums, they give me a lot better pace early on, obviously. So, there's just no point in going on to the hards. But here we go. Up to 5 red lights, looking to improve this P8 start, and here we go, we are underway. It's a pretty decent start for everybody involved. Lando is a little bit slow though, but he quickly picks up speed. Ocon absolutely did not have a great start, and we've had to take evasive action right there. That is what I'm on about. The horrible braking power of the MyTeam cars really show up on tracks like Austria and right here in Monza, and we've already lost half a second to our teammate George Russell, but honestly I'm not going to mind too much about that. I genuinely feel as though he is going to be the faster car out there today. But Charles Leclerc, the Tifosi are going to be very happy about that. Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari leads here at Monza, followed by Pierre Gasly in the Alpine. They have absolutely come out of nowhere. Alpine have done next to nothing in this series, literally nothing. They've been the most quiet team ever, like so boring, honestly. But yeah, good for them so far. Esteban Ocon, awful start for him. He fell from P3 all the way down to P6. Lando Norris now looking for a pass into the Parabolica. He's looking to go down the inside. He's still hanging out there, and he has to back off a little bit before he loses a front wing. He was getting really close, but he has enough speed to carry through and go for a pass right here. I've had to turn a little bit more ERS on just to keep up with him. Esteban Ocon is right on us as well. The slipstream is massively powerful here at Monza, and Norris really putting a lot of pressure on us going into turn 1 and 2 right there. Squeezed us out pretty much to the curb, which a bit aggressive from the Mercedes right there, but it's not often that the Mercedes has a good position in the race, of course. Lando really doesn't deserve to be in that absolutely god-awful car, but yeah, what can I say? Really not many positions on the grid as of now, as of the last couple of seasons, and I guarantee Lando didn't expect the Mercedes to just be this consistently bad in, you know, throughout this series. I don't know what it is with the Mercedes. I've seen it in other MyTeam series. It's not just F1 23, but also in the last few games. How I noticed it in F1 2020 when I played one season of that. Mercedes are just not that good in the F1 game. It's really strange. They just never come back to fight. Hopefully that changes next game. It would be really nice to have another team in the fight for the title. But yeah, we got a little bit of a breather here as we go onto the main straight as Esteban Ocon makes the pass on Lando Norris. Pierre Gasly sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, so maybe Leclerc might be in a little bit of trouble as DRS is now enabled. Ocon looking for the pass around the outside, and we are going to get the elbow out just a little bit into turn 1 and make that pass. Carlos Sainz has come out of nowhere. He's in P5 now and now challenging us, and there's been a safety car. Zhou Guanyu's out of the session. It flashed up right there, and Jahan Deruvala is also out, so there must have been a big crash between them. Maybe there was an engine failure. Either way, 2 cars have been caught up in a collision behind us. And yeah, that's Deruvala and Guan Yu Zhou out of the race. And yeah, really early safety car in this race, of course. So we got a lot of things to do. And I mean, look at this. Max Verstappen, of course, he got the grid penalty. I didn't really acknowledge that. Sorry. Yeah, he's quite low down in P14. Perez, P12. Red Bull are just... Maybe the Red Bull engine just isn't very good around Monza specifically. I don't know, because it was clearly the best engine around Baku. I don't know what that is. But yeah, clearly got a lot to think about in terms of strategy. And yeah, Charles Leclerc has actually pit. A few drivers have actually pit. George Russell, what are you doing? George has pit right as we're getting back up to speed. Actually, most of the grid has done that. What a howler from the entire grid as Alexander Albon and Kevin Magnussen. I mean, if you saw how low they were in the leaderboards just then, Magnussen was like, I think he was last. I think he was last. I don't know, but he's made the pass on Albon. So Kevin Magnussen in the Williams, P3, no, P4 now. Alexander Albon takes the position back in the AlphaTauri, and of course Charles Leclerc is P5. So I've really got to start to think about what the strategy should be now. Pierre Gasly is clearly a lot quicker than me, so there's no point in really trying to catch him in that Alpine. Leclerc is 4.5 seconds behind me, and it'll only be a matter of time before he actually starts to catch up. But we're on lap 7 right now, and I've really just got to start thinking about strategy. And at this point in time, I was staying out in the hopes of maybe blocking Leclerc, slowing him down, and letting George Russell have an easier time of it. But I've got no idea where George is right now. So honestly, I'm grasping at straws. These soft tyres are really going off now, but I've honestly got no other choice, to be quite honest. There was really no point in pitting as early as lap 3 on that safety car, because I just have no trust in the hards, and I would have had to be on those the entire race. So we would have very quickly gotten up to this point this position that we are in right now, which is getting absolutely hounded by Leclerc, and pretty soon Piastri and Perez, then Norris. Like, we will tumble down the order quite quickly, so our best bet is to actually defend as hard as we can against Charles Leclerc. And I'm actually employing a tactic I use at Brazil, and that is to make the car as wide as possible. We use it in Canada as well. Make the car as wide as possible by getting in the middle of these straight roads, these narrow roads right here. But Leclerc, oh my god! Leclerc has absolutely lost control. What happened there? Oh my god! And it's his own driving error. There was absolutely no contact made. I didn't make any erratic movements, and the only explanation for that must be the dirty air. I think Leclerc may have just made a mini correction, and that change in direction, that slight change in direction with the dirty air was clearly enough to send him absolutely out of control. That is a disaster for Ferrari, an absolute disaster. Oh my god. And yeah, we're obviously going to pit now. That might be the biggest crash we've seen all year on this game. Oh my god. And I mean, look at this. Oscar Piastri's in a beautiful position. McLaren have been nowhere this season. So good for the season 3 runner-up there. He was so close to winning the title that season, but he'll be looking forward to a win there. Alex Albon in the AlphaTauri, 4th place. Magnussen in the Williams, 5th. Nick de Vries, P6. AlphaTauri got a chance at double points here. That is going to be massive for them. They're currently on absolutely no points. We're going to tumble down the order quite a bit here, as low down as P15. So we got a bit of work to do to reclaim, to claim any sort of points on these mediums. But I'm quite confident about it. These are a lot fresher than, well, as opposed to the rest of the grid. So I believe we have a really good chance, despite our clear disadvantage in a straight line. We'll have to see what happens though. We've got Drugovic not too far behind us on the hards in that Alfa Romeo, Liam Lawson in the Haas, and yeah, once again the AI. Look at that acceleration off the safety car restart right there, and look at this. We got a bunch of cars right on my tail. I'm going to look for the pass, and look at this. Everybody, I mean, I wasn't looking for that, to be honest. I should have expected that. Obviously, a lot of the cars were going to slow down because they're all bunched up. But once again, into turn 1, we had to take some evasive action. And yeah, Bottas, a little bit, well, not even Bottas's fault. It was Bottas and Stroll fighting for position, and I was just forced over the curb, unfortunately. And we lost another position to Liam Lawson, so not the greatest restart for us. But now Liam Lawson's actually making this difficult, and we've seen Liam Lawson start defending really, really hard in this game multiple times, especially this season. And now, even though we've used it to our advantage quite often this season, he's actually making it difficult for us this time. And so we've got to make the pass. But yeah, we can break a lot later with these much fresher tyres. So a pretty easy overtake when it came down to you know, a wide enough corner like that. But yeah, he's definitely cost us some time there, and that might be pretty catastrophic. I don't know where Russell is, but he is in the points, so that's a good thing at the very least. And by lap 16, we actually did manage to catch up to the guys in front of us, and now we're looking to make the pass on a pretty slow-moving Valtteri Bottas. I think he got squeezed out by Lance Stroll again. Pretty harsh battling between the two. I don't know what they're fighting for, though. Valtteri Bottas has consistently not been very good in that Mercedes in the past couple of seasons, and Lance has just completely dropped the ball on his return to Aston Martin this season, has been completely outclassed by Porsche, and it's a shame because Stroll was actually really close to winning the Season 3 title, and if he didn't bottle it in Mexico, who knows what could have happened that season. We might have not won that title, you know, that's how close it really was. And now look, he's actually completely closed me off there, but now we're in a wide enough straight to actually make a good move. But Lance is actually so quick through that corner that he's overtaking Nick de Vries, and we are actually going to follow him through there as well. But bit too late, but Nick de Vries isn't able to make it through that corner. Of course, he doesn't have the grip, so bit of a shame for Nick. He could have gotten some pretty good points. You know, Miami Season 1 comes to mind with that safety car, and he managed to pull out a 5th place, if I remember rightly. Awesome times, but yeah, he's just been absolutely abysmal there, and we make a pretty easy go of it on Lance Stroll right there. We made that pretty easy for us. I don't know why. Maybe he didn't expect it. I don't know. Considering like how harsh he's been defending, how hard he's been defending, not just against us, but especially against Bottas. Pretty tame defense right there from him. But now we look to chase down Esteban Ocon, who is right behind Verstappen, and right ahead of him is actually the Williams of Kevin Magnussen holding up Verstappen and Ocon there, which has actually allowed us to get this close. And now we're looking for the pass on Esteban Ocon. Verstappen's looking for the pass on Magnussen, and Magnussen is actually defending quite well, and Verstappen over the curb loses too much speed. And yeah, pretty nice double overtake in a couple of corners right there. And now we're looking for the third, looking to get past the Williams of Magnussen, and he's employing the tactic I used on Leclerc earlier, and which was, you know, making the car as wide as possible. But we make an easy go of it. We're past Kevin Magnussen, and Magnussen now loses a position to Verstappen, and he also lost the position to Ocon as we skip ahead to our overtake on Carlos Sainz right there. Just an absolute disaster for Ferrari. And I think that's just Leclerc's crash is just a beautiful example of dirty air really being a thing in this game, you know. But look at this, Yuki Tsunoda being held up by Alexander Albon. Not for much longer though, he has the DRS. We are going to follow him through, and we're actually also going to make a beautiful pass here on Yuki Tsunoda. We were so fast that I was able to cut to the left side of Tsunoda and not have to worry about crashing into Albon, and that was right on the last lap. So yeah, made 2 overtakes on that last lap. A pretty good race for us. Russell gets a P4, so good for him. Oscar Piastri picks up the win. He manages to fend off Sergio Perez. That will mean so much to McLaren. And even though a P6 by our standards is absolutely woeful this season, that might be one of my best ever drives. Just on the circumstances, that is just a really, really good position for us.
Grand Prix that was, and an excellent win for McLaren. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
Our winning drivers are on their way to the podium right now. It's been a fantastic race for McLaren, that's for sure. And no doubt, they'll be celebrating tonight.
Well, Oscar Piastri picks up a beautiful win for McLaren, Sergio Perez in P2, and Théo Pourchaire picks up the 3rd spot on the podium for Aston Martin. Yeah, it's just really strange to me how he's completely outclassed Lance Stroll. I mean, in real life, that I think would be the case regardless. But in the game, when it comes to overalls and ratings, we might have to check out just, how highly rated Pourchaire is now. And to be honest, Stroll did replace Russell, so Pourchaire will likely have the boost of, the simulator, the personnel. I think it's the personnel. I forgot the department for R&D already, but it's the one that increases your focus, your racecraft. He's definitely got those bonuses, and that's what's really helping him against Lance Stroll. Look at that, 75 points compared to Stroll's 9. It's literally season 1 all over again. Not as drastic, of course, as Fernando Alonso got into well over 100 points. As opposed to, or was it 200? I don't know. As opposed to Lance Stroll's 10, but still, it's quite embarrassing, especially since Lance, did prove that he was capable of bringing a title fight in Season 3. Proper strange, but Alexander Albon was actually able to pick up a hard-fought 8th place. So AlphaTauri leapfrog up in the standings. And yeah, not really too worried about that result. We actually got a really good amount of points under the circumstances, and we're still far ahead in the championship, so I'm not too worried about that at all. But that was definitely a really, really tough race for us. So yeah, anyway guys, thank you all so much for watching this episode of F1 23 My Team Career Mode. If you guys liked it, be sure to hit that like button as hard as you possibly can. Be sure to check out my recent videos on F1 24, everything you need to know, and my deep dive into the career mode. Really, really excited for that. Anyways, I'll catch you next time. Peace.